Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us Kevin Coffey, who is the founder and CEO of Complete Spectrum Financial Services. Kevin, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Mike, for having me on.
You're welcome. Hey, I'm looking forward to talking with you about your business and about this really pertinent topic of Social Security. But before we get into that, give us a little bit of your background. What led you to found your company, Complete Spectrum Financial Services?
Well, I joined the industry about 25 years ago and founded Complete Spectrum in the year 2020. So we'll be going on 21 years here in August. What got me into the financial service industry originally is I wanted to learn how to manage my money better. And I joined a firm back in the day that allowed me to join part-time. And what piqued my interest was their free training classes that they would have every week and the ability for me to start part-time. I figured I could learn how to manage my own accounts and my own money. Never did I think in a million years that I'd have a large company 25 years from then.
Yeah.
But it was just the importance of learning how to manage my money first.
You know, it's interesting you say that because many people would have said, well, I went to school for it and then may as well start my firm. But many times when I interview people like chiropractors, they will say, you know, when I was young, I had this accident and I was really, impacted negatively in my physical body, and no one could figure out what to do until I went to this chiropractor, and wow, he changed my life. She changed my life. So I purposed right then and there to become a chiropractor. And you did kind of the same thing. You do like what people on Shark Tank do, and they say, you know what, I had this need. I went looking for it. No one had it, so I created it. Well, you wanted to learn how to better manage your money. Well, you could have read a book. You could have gone online, but you went and you got trained and you went and started part-time with the company, and then it blossomed from there. So I think that is so important. And then, of course, over the years, it is constantly and never-ending improvement and staying up on all the many changes in financial services, because managing your money is quite the broad topic, right?
Absolutely. In fact, manager money and financial service products are similar to technology. What worked and what was out 10 years ago is almost obsolete.
Yep.
The strategies that people used 10 years ago to reach their retirement goals is now obsolete. Same thing with insurance-based products. They evolved. So you are correct.
You know, it makes me think of, how much experience do you have? And someone says, I've got 10 years experience. Well, is it actually 10 years of experience, or is it 1 year of experience 10 times over, which means they're stuck in the past. They're doing the same old things. They're not staying up with the times and the changes. And I know that what you're telling us is you stay up with all of these ever-changing strategies. And it's not just the rules of finances and money and things like that. It is strategic approach. So talk a little bit about the importance of working with a financial professional who has a lot of experience, and that's wonderful, but tell us what kind of experience. How often do you stay updated and do continuing education? Because I know that is so important when someone comes to you and says, what should I do as my family with our finances? And knowing that you're going to give them the most cutting edge, relevant, and fresh approach.
Well, it's funny you say that. That's what makes our firm a little bit different than probably what people are used to experiencing. My philosophy is I can't be an expert in everything, but I'm an expert in certain areas. So I've surrounded myself with experts. So the one thing that I've been taught over the years is if I'm the smartest guy in the room, I don't need anybody else. But my goal isn't to be smart in all the areas. That's why we have a CPA. We have an investment advisor. I know what I'm great at, and that's more of the loss avoidance strategy, and I enjoy it. So we have different people with our firm that are purely experts and stay up to date on their product line. Another important thing to remember, there's no one product that fits everybody's needs. So one of the reasons I got in the industry is, I'd read online, buy whole life, don't buy whole life, buy term invested difference, don't buy term invested difference, get a variable annuity, don't buy a variable annuity, buy mutual funds, oh no, don't buy mutual funds, buy stocks. And so it was so overwhelming that really when I really did the research and become educated in the industry, here's what I found out. There's not one product that fits everybody's needs. That's why we have and offer all of the services. And we have experts that stay up to date in that specific area. And that's what makes us truly different than other companies out there. We develop plans, not peddle products. I think that's important.
I really couldn't agree more. And from a lot of different industries, if you're thinking of medical, if you have a specific problem with your feet, let's say, and it's really a detailed problem, you want to go to a podiatrist because they're the specialist. You don't want to go to a generalist that just tries to handle everything. Well, your firm, if you have many specialists under your umbrella of working with your team, well, then let's have a look at the approach holistically, and then let's bring in our expert who focuses on this piece that you need. But yet, here's Kevin, who's the coach or the ringleader, making sure that everything is connected the right way and is following that specific strategy and plan. I think that's really important for people to understand.
I agree, and it's definitely worked for our clientele over the last 20 years.
Let's scoot over to a new topic, which I know that when you think about a holistic financial approach, we could talk about so many things. You mentioned insurance or annuities and everything. Let's talk about Social Security, because it's been said that Social Security is the cornerstone of retirement income. Talk a little bit about how you approach that with your clients.
Well, we really didn't approach that area because it's so complicated until about 7 years ago. And then our firm purchased software that was our expert. Once again, we can't be experts in every area. So 7 years ago, we bought software. The software knew all of the different strategies, which there are many, many strategies that are available to the consumer, but very few people know about them. And if you call the Social Security Administration, they can't give you a strategy. It's not that they're trying to be rude or they're not trying to help you. They cannot give you recommendations. So a lot of people don't know strategies are out there. A lot of people claim Social Security early, and that might be the right strategy for them. But for many people, it's not, because they don't understand how Social Security works. And so I see a lot of mistakes being made. But when we bought the software, this software is our expert. It shows people when the time, taking benefits, what strategies available. And I'm telling you, there's so many strategies out there. Some of them are so bizarre that you scratch your head and say, that can't be true. But there actually is. I'm going to give you an example. We had a client come in, Brad and Kathy. Brad was a high-income earner. Kathy was a teacher. She didn't pay into Social Security. Well, automatically, anybody out there who has a spouse that didn't pay into Social Security, automatically you think they're not entitled to Social Security benefits because they never worked or paid into it. That's wrong. In fact, in this situation, Kathy ended up getting $788 a month from Social Security. When we told her that, she kept on saying, but I didn't pay in. And we kept on saying, it's a strategy. It's legal. And sure enough, we gave her a surprise of $788 a month for the rest of her life. Now, tell me, what a difference did we make in her life?
Yeah. Of $788 in cash that she didn't think that she would have, because from the layman's perspective, myself hearing that, if I didn't pay in to Social Security, how am I going to get anything out of Social Security? But yet, like you said, it's a strategy. The software identifies these opportunities. But I think what would make the people feel comfortable is, hey, Kevin can request this of Social Security, and if Social Security doesn't approve it, they're not going to approve it. But when they do approve it, it's legal, it's ethical. So I think that's a really big thing to look at, is you can think and assume something, But if you get with that financial professional like yourself who can look at all of the angles and aspects, and if you have software at your disposal, even better, because now you can analyze those options against the holistic plan that you're bringing for the clients. That's really a neat case study example.
Yeah, and we have example after example of strategies that we presented to people that they never knew they could do. Now, let me ask you, how likely would it have been of Kathy to call the Social Security Administration and say, hey, I'm a teacher, I've never paid into Social Security, or let's say it's just somebody who stayed at home. How likely are they to call and say, I've never paid into Social Security, can I claim and receive some benefit on my spouse who did pay into Social Security? No one does that.
Yeah.
No one in their right mind would even know.
No one would think to do it. And then even if they did, Social Security person, if they even responded, because many times they would say, well, we can't give advice. But you would think that they would go, if you didn't pay in, you can't get out. So these strategies, and I love that word because it's not just 1 + 1 = 2. It is, let's take a step back and look at the 30,000-foot view. So there are so many things that would be available to someone that they would not even understand. I want to move into something that from the layman's perspective, I think that people don't understand all the ramifications. When to claim, like early, like you hear about, well, you can claim at 62, but if you wait till 65, you can get a little bit more. Wait till 67, you can get a little bit more. What are a little bit of the basics from a broad perspective that people should keep in mind regarding what age to consider claiming?
Okay, as a general rule of thumb, if you can delay Social Security, it makes sense. So from 62 to your full retirement age, it's going to grow at anywhere between 5 and 7% per year. But the magic happens from full retirement age to age 70. Your benefit will grow at 8% per year, and that's guaranteed. So on paper, it makes sense for somebody to delay to 70. But in reality, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. Everybody's different. So if we have a couple come in and their health is compromised, or they have to stay in a job that is deteriorating their health, or they don't enjoy, then for some people, it may make sense to claim earlier. So everybody's different, but just mathematically, if you can afford to delay Social Security benefit, it makes sense.
And I think that the big recurring statement that we're saying is everyone's different. You don't assume that your situation is like one you read or heard of. Everyone's different. Get with a financial professional that can look at your specific situation from a broad, holistic approach and kind of, put this piece together here and try to see how that would work to your benefit. Because to your point, yes, health could be a consideration. Like the example you mentioned with the high earner husband. What if it was a low earner husband and they had this fund or annuity or life insurance? All of those become factors in consideration. So I think that that's a really big piece, and there would be times, and I guess let me ask you the question, are there times where, sure, waiting to 70 and having that guaranteed growth is an option, but there will be times where it's like, claim right now. If you can claim it now, get it. When would that be?
Well, there's a couple of times. If your health is compromised and your spouse isn't expecting to live on your benefit. So remember, if you're married and one of you should pass away, the surviving spouse, gets the higher of the two. So if they're not relying on a higher benefit and your health is compromised, you might want to take that benefit early. If you're a teacher and you have para income coming in, the minute you turn on your para income, your Social Security benefit, if you're entitled to one, could be reduced or even eliminated. So you might want to turn on Social Security early to start getting that 100% of that benefit, because we know that when your para kicks in, it's going to reduce it. So there's some times where it does make sense to turn it on early.
Yeah, that's and again, you mentioned 2, 3, 4 different variables. I'm sure there's a couple dozen variables, and everyone is different. And being able to look at some options, kind of like on some spreadsheets, or having someone like yourself walk them through, I think would be so helpful to say, option 1 would be doing it this way, and here's the pros and the cons. And Kevin Coffey is not going to force anyone to make a decision. It's just, here's some options that might benefit you. What do you feel most comfortable with given your objectives and your lifestyle? I think that's the benefit of having someone that's kind of like the coach, guiding the process.
I agree. I definitely agree.
I want to go back to a statement you made about, calling the Social Security Administration. Many people might not think to call the Social Security Administration, but I think that question comes up, whether it's like, oh, let me go email them or call them. But let's kind of take it a step further and go, well, I Googled this question and I found this article online, and this article said I should do this or that or the other. Or I downloaded this PDF and it said I should. What's the danger of doing that? And I would suspect that it's kind of like, oh, my back aches. Let me go to Dr. Google and WebMD and diagnose myself. And now I know exactly. No, you need to go to a doctor who is trained.
Absolutely. There's no article that knows your specific situation. It's an article that is a blanket article. Without knowing a couple's or an individual's specific situation, it's impossible to make a recommendation. So there's a lot of danger for people who just go Google a strategy when that article does not know anything about your current situation.
And if you can present an option that would literally not have come into possibility, like the example you gave where the teacher that had never paid into Social Security and now she's getting a monthly benefit, it's like finding things that are falling through the cracks. It's like filling up the holes in the bucket. And if it's just a matter of your expertise in this area and tapping into that, boy, what does my situation look like that you can help me with? I think that is so huge. So let's kind of wrap up with this thought, Kevin. We've touched on how Social Security is a key cornerstone and necessary part of a comprehensive retirement income strategy. So what would you say if someone is thinking, well, I'm age 40, I'm age 50, I'm age 60, at what point should they be thinking of and doing some pre-planning? Because maybe you should be doing it before you're 60 or 61 when you start making these decisions. When is a good time to start thinking ahead?
I think you start thinking ahead the minute you start high school, believe it or not.
Wow.
You start planning for your retirement at an early age because of the compounding of money. But It really becomes important, obviously, when you get in the workforce and you start earning money. So it's never too early, really, to start planning.
Because to your point, there could be some delayed claiming strategies that you would be able to afford delaying Social Security benefits because you made wise decisions in the decades before. So if you made some wise decisions and you have some funds and some moves, wise financial moves to make, that would allow you then to delay claiming. If you don't have a dime to your name and you can't work, then you better maybe consider taking Social Security now. But start early, and I love that. Start at the youngest age, and it's kind of like have you ever read the book The Richest Man in Babylon?
I have, years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you need to teach your kids, hey, take 10% and set aside for charitable causes. Take 10% and put that away for long-term investment, retirement from an early age. And if you can do that, boy, that compound interest, just really, really takes effect. And if you can discipline yourself to do that from a very early age, from your first job on, look what will happen when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. So, Kevin, thank you so much for these thoughts. And it's really important for people to realize, what does your situation look like? Get with a qualified financial professional that can give you some options. What is the best way that someone could learn more about Complete Spectrum and reach out and connect with you?
They could either call our office at area code 303-922-4309. Once again, 922-4309, area code 303. Or they can visit our website at complete- which is the middle dash, spectrum.com.
Excellent. And I will make sure to have that link in the show notes so that people can click on that. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for coming on today. It was really wonderful getting to know you and your approach to financial services.
Well, Mr. Saunders, it's been a pleasure.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.